Yo, let's kick the intro.
Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and desert you, never gonna make you cry, never gonna say goodbye, never gonna tell a lie.
Whoa. What the hell? Let's play the real intro, please. What's up, it's your boy KC. How y'all doing? Welcome to episode 25 of my podcast show. We got a lot to talk about, so let's get this thing started. First things first, what the hell, Pokemon? This Pokemon Go app that everybody is into is making people lose their minds, making people stupid, to be exact. There were so many things going on because of this app. Dude ran into a police car, he's pretty much screwed. People are walking off cliffs. People are walking into traffic, and the worst that I've seen is people walking into zoos and being in the tiger's den. Why in the blue hell would you want to go into a tiger's den when you know they're going to tear your ass to shreds just to find a damn Pokemon? What the hell is wrong with people? As if people ain't dumb enough as it is these days. They create something that makes them even dumber. Brock Lesnar, what the hell, man? You had the best comeback since George Foreman won the boxing heavyweight championship at 45 years old, and you went ahead and failed not one but two tests? Two drug tests. All the times that they tested him and he was able to pass, every single one except these two. And if it's something illegal, they need to suspend his ass. We don't know what he failed for yet, that's why they haven't taken any actions. But here's the problem with that whole thing. Brock is like, 38 years old? If they suspend him for the 2 years, Brock's UFC career is over. And WWE needs to take action. They need to take the same action that they did with Roman Reigns. They suspended Roman Reigns for 30 days, brought him back, and made him lose 3 times. He took the pen in 3 different matches. So Brock doesn't need to be a special case. If it comes out that it's something illegal that Brock did to help him through that match, they need to take action and suspend this guy and let him take his punishment. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say I feel sorry for Brock because this guy probably has more money than anybody in this state. So, I really can't feel sorry for a guy who got money from mixed martial arts and UFC and WWE. Brock will be just fine. But you can't treat him like a special case just because he's a big superstar. You can't show favorites. If you punish one guy, you have to punish the other. On to this list of ex-wrestlers that are suing WWE, claiming that they hid the dangers of the moves that they were doing and all the head injuries that they sustained working for this company. And there are a lot of names on here that I looked at and I'm like, what the hell? I don't get it. And then there's some people that I laugh, and then there are people on this list that I say to myself, this person has no reason being on this list. I didn't write all the names down because I'm not going to go through that whole long list of people. I'm just going to name some of the people. Bill Eadie is on this list. Tony Norris, formerly known as Ahmed Johnson. Axel Rotten's estate. Marty Jannetty, Earl and Dave Hebner. Shane Douglas, Road Warrior Animal. Mr. Wonderful, Paul Orndorff. All these people are on this list. And Superfly Jimmy Snuka is on this list. This guy is the last person that should be trying to sue WWE for anything. After everything that Vince McMahon has done for that guy, keeping his ass out of jail when he should be rotting in there right now, keeping him in the Hall of Fame and keeping the guy paid, and he's suing them. And the thing that gets me about this whole list of all these wrestlers, when you look at them, all these people wrestled before they went to WWE, and they wrestled after they went to WWE. Now, I'm not defending this company because they do a lot of messed up shit, but let's call it for what it is. It's a money grab, and everybody knows that it is. Because these people are talking about head injuries. Superfly alone, after he went into the Hall of Fame, this guy continued to wrestle until he could no longer move. The dude is in a wheelchair now. How the hell are y'all gonna blame Vince McMahon and his company for the injuries that y'all sustained when a lot of these people like Ahmed Johnson, this guy only wrestled for 2 years in WWE. He wrestled before he went to the company and he wrestled a couple of years after in WCW. So how you gonna blame that one company for your injuries because every other company is no longer around? Some of these people like Road Warrior, Animal, wrestle in Japan, which is a hard style wrestling, which is way more dangerous than the wrestling that we do over here. And you guys are trying to get money from this multi-billion-dollar company because your asses are either broke or you're jealous or you're mad because they won't give you a job. Y'all are not going to win this case. It's bullshit and you know it. You're not going to win this. It's over. And now for some positive talk. Sasha Banks is the new WWE Women's Champion. And I am happy for the girl. Congratulations to you. She definitely deserves it. She's one of the best women's wrestlers to come up that pike in a very long time. And you know she's going to have her haters because those haters don't know talent if it bit them in the ass. The only knock on this whole thing is I was kind of hoping that Sasha and Charlotte would have a big match at a big pay-per-view where Sasha could have got the title. But nonetheless, I'm happy that the boss is the champion. And let's see how they work this thing. While I'm on the subject of the boss, back at Battleground, she did indeed have a mystery partner, and it turned out to be my baby girl, Bayley. I was so happy to see her come up, and they say that it's a one-time thing, but these are also the same people that told us that Bayley was not going to be Sasha's partner, that they couldn't stand each other, and lo and behold, there's Bayley out there being her partner. So I don't believe nothing that WWE tells me because I have common sense. This is not a one-time thing for Bayley. I could see them probably holding her down there for another couple of months and then bringing her up. But it's time. There's nothing else for Bayley to do down there. Bring this girl up. We're finally done with the WWE Draft. Whoop-de-doo. So here's how this is going to go. I'm going to read all the wrestlers that were drafted to each brand, starting with Raw first. Stephanie McMahon picked her GM, and it turned out to be Mick Foley. Great choice. Forgive and forget, huh, Hunter? Remember the baseball bat with barbed wire cutting your flesh? I guess we can forgive that. It's great to see Mick back on TV, man. Drafted to Raw, we have Seth Rollins, Charlotte, Finn Balor, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, The New Day, Sami Zayn, Sasha Banks, Chris Jericho, Rusev, Kevin Owens, Enzo and Cass, Gallows and Anderson, The Big Show, Nia Jax, Neville, Cesaro, Sheamus, The Golden Truth, Titus O'Neil, Paige, Darren Young along with Bob Backlund, Sin Cara, Jack Swagger, who gives a shit, the Dudley Boys, Summer Rae, Mark Henry, Braun Strowman, Bo Dallas, I forgot he was even still employed because he hasn't really been doing shit, the Shining Stars, who gives a shit, and that fine ass chick, Alicia Fox. That's great. Shane McMahon picked his GM and it turned out to be the yes man himself, Daniel Bryan. And he looked very happy to be back and that guy got a thunderous ovation. I mean, the guy's not even wrestling anymore and he was more over than anybody on that show that night. Drafted to SmackDown, the WWE Universal Champion. What the hell? Whatever. The Universal Champion, Dean Ambrose, AJ Styles, John Cena, Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt, Becky Lynch, The Miz, who gives a shit, Baron Corbin, American Alpha, awesome team, Dolph Ziggler, Alberto Del Rio, Natalya, sexy, The Usos, Kane, Kalisto, Naomi, The Ascension, Zack Ryder, Apollo Crews, Alexa Bliss, Breezango, good lord, Eva Marie, good lord, the Vaudevillains, Eric Rowan, Mojo Rawley, and Carmella. 2 people were added to that list. Dana Brooke and Mr. Imperfect himself, Curtis Axel, were both drafted to Raw. Heath Slater wasn't drafted because he is currently on the injured list. And I imagine when he comes back, WWE is going to have this big event telling everybody, all his fans, where he's going to be drafted to, because if they don't, it's going to be a huge colossal fuck. If they don't tell us where our Heath Slater is going, the guy's the biggest star on the roster. I mean, seriously. They're talking about bringing back the Cruiserweight division to Monday Night Raw. which is great, but it has its negatives too. Because there's a lot of guys on the main roster as well as NXT that fall under that weight limit. And the last thing I want to see is guys like Finn Balor and Shinsuke Nakamura, Tyler Breeze, guys like those being limited to just winning the Cruiserweight title, because these guys are way bigger than that. So I hope that there's something that people like Neville can do. No disrespect to Neville, he should have been bigger than what he was, but it didn't turn out that way. Kalisto should be in that. Sin Cara should be in stuff like that. Not Finn Balor, not Nakamura, or any other big stars, the guys that have a big bright future and should be in the main event picture. Kalisto cut one of the worst promos I have ever heard in my whole life. This guy messed up so badly that he ran away in his interview time. That probably doesn't make him look too good. He's going to have to work on that, because one of the most important things of being in WWE, you have to know how to talk, especially if you're going to be a champion and you have to represent the company. You have to know how to talk, and he's going to have to work on that stuff, because that shit was horrible, man. It was funny, but it was horrible. And because Kalisto is on SmackDown now, I can honestly say that the Sin Cara character is dead now, because him being teamed with Kalisto was the only thing keeping that character alive. So they're going to have to figure out what they're going to do, because the Sin Cara character is so damaged from the original guy that played him, Mystico, because he was made of glass. The guy was botching his moves left and right, and it just damaged the Sin Cara character. And it sucks, because the guy playing Sin Cara is actually really good. I just think that it's time for them to repackage this guy, because now there's nothing for him to do. And if they do bring back this Cruiserweight Classic, or Cruiserweight Division I meant to say, they could probably rehab this guy by putting a Cruiserweight title on him. But without Kalisto, I don't see no direction for this guy. I want to talk about Nia Jax for a second. She was drafted to the main roster on Monday Night Raw, and I'm very happy for the girl. It had to be a Triple H move, because I don't think she is what a guy like Vince McMahon or Kevin Dunn would actually want on the main roster, because she's not that size 6 bombshell blonde with the fake tits that these guys seem to like on the main roster. But I'm happy that she made it. The girl is extremely attractive. She is beautiful. I don't care what anybody says. That being said, from what I've seen of her on NXT, she's really not that good. I think she really could have benefited from staying down on NXT for another year, maybe even 2, to get her character down packed. I think that they rushed her too quickly up to the main roster, and that's not good. The last thing I want to see is her bomb on TV, because she has the potential to be a monster heel champion or challenger. I can see her working a program with Sasha, but she's not ready yet. Time for the video game portion of my show. The game of the week is my favorite video game period from Super Nintendo, Super Metroid. I never get tired of playing this game. I could play it over and over again. This is the game that revolutionized the free exploration in the video games that you see today. You really can go wherever you want, whenever you want. You can fight the bosses in any order that you want to if you want to break sequence. You can collect missiles, super missiles, power bombs, super speed, screw attacks, everything that Samus Aran needs to be a beast. Throughout this game, you defeat monsters like the Krakenmeyer, Ridley, Kraid, and the Mother Brain herself. This game is timeless. If you are a huge Metroid fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you never played Metroid before in your life and I was introducing you to the world of Metroid, this would be the game that I will point you to, as well as Metroid Fusion and Zero Mission, because those games are just as great. Pick it up and play it. Whatever happened to the Golden Axe series that used to be in the arcade, and it caught on with a lot of people? It was also for the Sega Mega Drive, for the PC Engine, among other systems. And it was created by the same creators that made the Alter Beast game. And I just wonder what happened to it. It took place in a fictional land of Yura, and an unknown entity named Death Adler, that's probably like the coolest name for a villain ever. He captured the king and his daughter and holds him captive in his castle. He also finds the Golden Axe, a magical emblem of Yura, and threatens everybody. Threatens to destroy the world, of course, because that's how those guys are back then. And there are 3 people that are trying to stop this guy. A dwarf named Gilius Thunderhead, that's awesome. A barbarian that looks like Dolph Lundgren, his name is Axe Battler, that's awesome. And the last is an Amazon named Tyrese Flair, freaking crazy. And you just go around with swords and an axe and you just hack and slash your way through the game. What more can a man ask for? I don't know what happened to it after that. They did have Golden Axe 2 and 3. They had one for the PlayStation 2, and I played that one. That one was shit. And I think that's when the series fizzled out, that Sega just didn't want to do anything else with it. And what about that kick-ass music they used to have? The Golden Axe series is what made the beat-em-up genre so famous, along with games like Double Dragon, Final Fight, Dungeons & Dragons, which is another fun beat-em-up game that never gets talked about very much. I hope that they port Golden Axe to PSN and Xbox Live and even for the Nintendo Wii U, because I want the next generation to see just how great these games were, and I don't want them to be forgotten about. The Neo Geo Pocket had potential. What is this system that I'm talking about? It was released by SNK October 28, 1998 and discontinued a year later in 1999. It was released to compete with the Game Boy Color, which was a powerhouse at the time. I liked a lot of things about this handheld. Not only did it have the classic SNK series that a SNK fan needs, such as Samurai Showdown, King of Fighters, Fatal Fury, and Metal Slug, but it was also cheaper and you used less batteries to power it than the Game Boy did. It used 2 AAA batteries for 40 hours of gameplay. Also, this may be the only handheld in history that has forward compatibility, meaning that this system could play its successors' games as well. The Neo Geo Color games also work for the Neo Geo Pocket. I've never seen that before. And it's a shame that this system never had a chance to reach popularity like it should have. It had a lot of features that I enjoyed, even more than the Game Boy Color itself, which I had a Game Boy Color. It was a great system, but the fact that you needed 4 AA batteries to power the thing, it really brought it down. It was a lot more expensive than the Neo Geo Pocket, and I would have been happy having a Neo Geo Pocket. There are many variations of this system. You have the Neo Geo Pocket Color that was released March 16, 1999 in Japan, and we got it here August 6, 1999, and it stayed around until June 13, 2000 in the US and 2001 over there in Japan. It had the same capabilities as the original Neo Geo Pocket, only it was in color, 16-bit graphics, and it cost $70. So that was very affordable then. It sold more than its predecessor, but it still failed to catch on in the US, and that really sucks. My cousin had one of those. He had a Neo Geo Pocket Color, and I used to play the hell out of SNK vs. Capcom on that system. It was a lot of fun. We had another variation of this system called the Neo Geo X. It was created December 18, 2012, but it wasn't created by SNK. It was created by a standalone company, Tomo Blaze, in Europe, and they sold it for $200. This was a system that felt cheap in the hands, and it was basically an emulator that you could download to your PC, a tablet, or your phone anytime you want to. So not much work was put into this handheld, and SNK sent a cease and desist on production of these handhelds, and they still have a lawsuit going on even to this day. Started back in 2012, and they're still fighting these guys, which is ridiculous. But is it any surprise that this system failed? Because it was out there the same time as the powerhouse PS Vita and the 3DS. There's no way that any handheld that they create now could ever compete with those two. And that's the end of the Neo Geo Pocket. Is it worth it? This game called Tomb Raider. Not the original Tomb Raider in 1996. I'm talking about the reboot Tomb Raider that came out in 2013, and that really pisses me off, and it grinds my gears when video game companies are that damn lazy. Why couldn't you come up with a better title for this game other than Tomb Raider? Why are you gonna confuse people by putting the same title on 2 different games? So now the only way that people can tell the difference is saying Tomb Raider 2013 and Tomb Raider 1996. It's just pure lazy, and that's what grinds my gears. Anyways, this game takes place before Lara Croft became the adventurous, tomb-raiding, kamikaze, high-flying, death-defying female that we know her as today. There are elements in this game that are not in the previous Tomb Raider games. You definitely get a feel of survival and solitude as Lara is placed in these deep dark places like forest and underground caves with no weapons. She has to create her own tools to get through, such as torches and an axe pick that she can attack with. You do get weapons in this game. They also gave you the ability to upgrade your weapons as well as make them stronger, which is something that you can never do in any other Tomb Raider game, and that's cool that they added that, because you will need it, because there are a lot of strong enemies that you have to take on through the game that are very strong, and you're going to need to upgrade your weapons as much as you possibly can. I have two negatives against this game. Number one, they had a multiplayer campaign that they concentrated way too hard on, and I really never cared about multiplayer anyways. Tomb Raider has always been a single player game, and it should stay that way. They had a lot of DLC, of course, because that's what they do these days with these multiplayer maps and the costumes and the guns, which is BS. The other knock on the game is when you beat the game, you get to go back and collect all the treasures, and that's it. There's nothing else for you to do. All the weapons that you've unlocked through the game, you can't take them into a new game. You have to start all over again, so there's no new game plus. I don't like that. With those being said, is this game worth it? It's definitely worth playing. The only thing is when you beat it, there's nothing else for you to do. But it is a lot of fun to see Lara in a different element, and you will enjoy this game. Anime otakus, it's that time again. Time to talk about some more Dragonball Super. We last left off with Son Goku traveling to Universe 10 along with Beerus and Whis to find a person who has the exact same key as Goku Black. We also see for the first time a green Kai named Samasu, which we don't know much about because not too many details were released on this character. President Buruma finishes the time machine so that Trunks could go back to his timeline. This episode is more about character development, as future Trunks goes to visit Gohan to see how he's doing, and he's surprised on how Gohan turned out, which I'm not. In my personal opinion, aside of Gohan being a flaming pussy, it's more about Gohan being a family man, and I understand that Gohan's character is a peaceful character who does not like to fight. But they got us invested in this kid when he became a Super Saiyan 2, and everybody loved him, so why throw away all that momentum? He could have really been something to this series. I've said it a million times. Anyways, Trunks ends up being happy with how Gohan turned out. You know, him having a wife and a kid Pan that... And I wish Toriyama would stop teasing us, because he keeps getting our hopes up about Gohan, telling us that he's going to start training again, he's going to fight again, and then when the tournament comes up, he's nowhere to be found. The guy's at a damn conference for a job, which makes absolutely no sense to me because he's married to the daughter of one of the richest men on that planet in Hercule. So that doesn't make any sense. Either Gohan's gonna be a fighter or he's gonna be a family man. Make up your mind already, because it's getting annoying. I already gave up on Gohan. I don't give a shit about the character. He's a piece of crap and he's a punk. But there are Gohan fans that are still diehard fans of his, and I don't think that it's fair that you keep teasing these people. We find out that Kid Trunks is jealous of his future counterpart, not because future Trunks is stronger and he's a better fighter, but because Mai actually has a crush on future Trunks. And it's a weird dynamic because Mai is actually a grown woman trapped inside of a little kid's body. So you have a little kid who has a crush on a adult woman that's trapped in a little kid's body who has a crush on a grown man. So it's kind of weird when you put it that way. And this is actually one of the scenes where I actually like Kid Trunks. Surprise! I actually like the scene with this little bastard in it, because everybody's been in that situation. This is something that we can all relate to, and I actually like this scene. I can't wait for the next episodes. While we're on the subject of Dragon Ball, I just would like to take this time to give props to Team 4-Star on the great job that they're doing on Dragonball Abridged. That shit is funny as hell. The way that they gave all the characters personalities and funny traits to make all the characters entertaining, and how they break the fourth wall with the narrator is awesome. Nail inside Piccolo's head is great because Nail was a bland, boring character and they gave him a good personality. I love it. My favorite characters are Vegeta and Piccolo in the series, especially Piccolo in the movies. Like in the Lord Slug movie, he was awesome. That one part, my favorite part of the movie is when Gohan gets knocked out by the enemy and Piccolo's all messed up and he looks at Gohan. He's like, Gohan, you want to do that thing when you get really mad and you start beating the guy up? And Gohan's not answering because he's knocked out. So he's like, Gohan, don't you fucking ignore me. And I lost it there, man. I was like, yo, these guys are crazy. The only thing I didn't like about Dragon Ball Abridged is how they made Son Goku look. They made him look like the most careless bastard on the planet and dumb as hell. And which we know Goku is a dummy because he never went to school. But I don't think he's as careless as they made him look. I wish they would kind of ease up on that. But it is funny as hell. You guys should check it out. The anime of the week is Hellsing Ultimate, an anime that ran from October 10, 2001 to January 16, 2002. It's about the leader of the Hellsing organization, Sir Integra Hellsing, who took over leadership after her father, Abraham Van Helsing, was killed. She has a guardian named Alucard, who is badass as hell. He reminds me of Dante from the Devil May Cry series because they're both supernatural beings who carry dual-wielding pistols. But Alucard has 2 hand cannons which bullets will pierce anything you shoot them at. The objective of this organization is to seek out and destroy all the undead supernatural beings in the world in World War II. Along the way, he meets this girl named Ceres Victoria, and it's funny how they meet because she ends up being put in a chokehold by one of those undead monsters, and in order to kill the guy behind her, Alucard shoots a big ass hole through this girl's chest to kill the undead monster behind her, and to save her life, he ends up biting her, turning her into a vampire. And I'm like, dude, are you out of your mind? You shot through her to kill the guy behind her. This guy doesn't give a shit about anybody, does he? Seriously, this anime only runs 13 episodes and each episode is an hour long. I would definitely check it out if you're a fan of vampires, supernatural beings, and undead monsters. This is definitely for you. This definitely gets 2 thumbs up. Before I end the show, I just would like to take the time to answer a question that a lot of people keep asking me. Why do I do videos? Why do I do podcast episodes? One reason is because I enjoy it. There's nothing like getting behind the mic and being able to talk about almost anything you want to talk about. Everything that I enjoy. Wrestling, video games, music, anime. I enjoy all of that stuff. Another reason is, for the same reason that all my inspirations do it, I want to entertain you guys. My inspirations, just podcasting alone, there are 3 guys that I can thank for that I actually got into podcasting because of them. Number 1 is Jason Solomon, the Solid Monster. I've been listening to his show for 3 years. I never miss an episode. I'm listening every single Sunday. The other 2 are Don Tony and Kevin Castle. Say what you want about these guys, but these guys are extremely entertaining. I started listening to their shows around the same time as the Solid Monster. Now for my videos alone, my YouTube channel, I have to thank Brian Zane of Wrestling with Regret because the guy's entertaining as hell. He had a hand in making me want to get my own YouTube channel. James Rolfe, the Angry Video Game Nerd, that's why I started doing Let's Plays because of him, because I enjoy his material. Alpha Omega Sen, when it comes to video game topics, I started doing videos because of him. All these people had a huge hand in me starting the things that I wanted to do on this channel. I just really enjoy it. Also, I want people, if you're having a bad day and you're having a lot going on in your mind, I want to be able to give y'all laughs. I want y'all to be able to listen to my things and forget about your problems. If you can listen to KC and hopefully get a couple of laughs, I'm happy. And I don't care if it's just 1 or 2 people who watch my videos or listen to my show. If they get enjoyment, then I did what I set out to do. And that's why I did it. And that's it for episode 25 of my podcast show. If you like what you heard, you can check out my other episodes on my channel, KC the Most. I also have topic videos talking about everything that pisses me off and things that I like too. You can also check me out on Twitter at MostKC. I also have a Tumblr page with all my videos, KC the Most. I have a Facebook page by the same name, KC the Most. I'm everywhere. You guys can find me everywhere, so you can let me know what you think of my videos. Hopefully they're positive things. I'm also in the process of putting my episodes up on SoundCloud. So there are different ways to listen to my show. This is your boy KC. I'll check y'all later.